The story of Samson, a man chosen by God from birth, is a powerful narrative found in the book of Judges, chapters 13 to 16. His life, marked by incredible strength and profound weaknesses, offers timeless lessons for believers. Samson's birth was miraculous. An angel of the Lord appeared to his barren mother, announcing that she would conceive a son who would begin to deliver Israel from the Philistines. He was to be a Nazarite from birth, set apart for God, with strict vows including never cutting his hair. This divine intervention highlights God's sovereign plan and his ability to work through unexpected means. Believers learn that God often chooses the unlikely to accomplish his purposes, and that his plans are established even before we are born. This instills faith that God has a purpose for each of us, and he is faithful to fulfill his promises as Samson grew. He was drawn to a Philistine woman in Timnah. Despite his parents' objections, Samson insisted on marrying her, stating, "She is right in my eyes." This decision, though seemingly against God's will, was part of God's plan to instigate conflict with the Philistines during the wedding feast. Samson posed a riddle, which his wife revealed to the Philistines under duress, enraged. Samson killed 30 Philistine men to pay the debt of the riddle. Later, his wife was given to another man, leading Samson to burn the Philistines' fields. In retaliation, the Philistines burned his wife and her father. Samson then struck them hip and thigh with a great slaughter from this. Believers learn about the consequences of compromise and disobedience. Even when God can use those actions for his greater plan, it teaches us to trust in God's ultimate sovereignty, even when our paths are imperfect, and to understand that our choices, good or bad, have ripple effects. Samson's exploits against the Philistines continued. He single-handedly killed 1,000 Philistines with the jawbone of a donkey. He tore down the gates of Gaza, carrying them to a hilltop near Hebron. These acts of immense strength demonstrated God's power working through him. Believers are reminded that God's strength is made perfect in weakness, and that with God, all things are possible. This encourages reliance on God's power rather than our own, fostering a deep faith that God can empower us to overcome seemingly insurmountable obstacles. However, Samson's greatest weakness was his attraction to Philistine women. He fell in love with Delilah, who was bribed by the Philistine rulers to discover the secret of his strength. 3 times Samson deceived her, but eventually, worn down by her persistence, he revealed that his strength lay in his Nazarite vow, specifically his uncut hair. While he slept, Delilah had his hair cut, and his strength departed. The Philistines captured him, gouged out his eyes, and forced him to grind grain in prison. This tragic turn teaches believers about the dangers of persistent temptation, the consequences of revealing our vulnerabilities to those who would exploit them, and the importance of guarding our hearts and commitments to God. It underscores the need for spiritual discernment and unwavering faithfulness. In his final act, Samson was brought to the temple of Dagon to entertain the Philistines. With his hair beginning to grow back, he prayed to the Lord, "O Lord God, please strengthen me just this once more, that I may be avenged on the Philistines for my 2 eyes." God granted his prayer. Samson pushed against the 2 central pillars supporting the temple, bringing the structure down upon himself and all the Philistines. He killed more in his death than in his life. This powerful ending illustrates God's mercy and willingness to use even a repentant sinner for his purposes. Believers learn that even in our failures, God offers redemption and a chance for restoration. It reinforces the idea that God's grace is sufficient, and he can use our brokenness for his glory, ultimately strengthening our faith in his unfailing love and redemptive power.